Good morning, America and the rest of Europe. How are you doing this lovely spring morning? Thank you for the replies on my Donald Trump video. I'm glad to see that more than me has discovered how the media is twisting and turning the truth. But now it's time for a Sweden update. Version 3, and as you can understand, things have even it's even more disturbing than you can imagine, actually. If you have seen the pictures and videos I have posted on my Facebook, you can now see that Sweden starts to look like Beirut or Lebanon, or more and more like the Middle East. You have people putting fire on cars. You have people throwing stones at the police and the ambulance and the fire department when they go out. They are luring police into emergencies, and once the police are there, they are getting hurled by stones by 10, 15, 20 people. Actually, Sweden is turning into a really, really bad place to live right now. This morning in the news, we get reports that 3 out of 4 police officers are thinking about leaving their job, handing in their badge. 1 out of 4 is already looking for new jobs. And as I said before, from New Year's to this date, more police officers has handed in their badge than during the entire 2014. So you start to understand that things are really, really bad here. We only have 20,000 police officers in the entire Sweden. They have a budget of 21 billion Swedish krona a year. That's roughly 1 million per employee. That's not much money. To take in consideration here is that the Swedish government is giving or is funding the migration with 380 billion Swedish kronas. 380 billion Swedish kronas to implement people who has an intelligence less than a 15-year-old, that needs houses, that needs jobs, that needs schools, that needs hospitals, that need psychology help, that needs daycare. And the problem is, right now in Sweden, you have about 1 million unemployed people already. You have 600,000 people waiting for the first apartment, grown adults. You have 70,000 people living on the streets that nobody gives a fuck about. We have schools that are the worst in Europe. We have a hospital that is the worst in Scandinavia. We have teachers leaving their job. We have uncertified teachers in our schools teaching our kids. You have maybe 4 to 5 different languages in a class, so you need interpreters. And you think, why does the grades drop? Well, might it be because the students don't get the help they need because there are so many disturbances in the classrooms? Maybe it is so. Is it maybe because we don't have the educated teachers that are trying to learn our kids the stuff? It might be. The hospital people, the nurses are leaving. They are quitting exactly like the police force. They don't have enough pay. They do not have enough staff, so they are overworked, and they get lousy pay. You have violence in the emergency rooms. You have gangs coming there to settle scores. You have different family feuds going on. The typical Swedish things. So you'd have to have the police in the emergency room, or you have to have guardians, security guards in the emergency rooms because of the violence now. This is just, if you go back, you see this is just evidence of a horrific multicultural try and experiment that has gone horribly, horribly wrong. Sweden is now an example of how not to do things, where you have politicians who take care of other citizens before their own. And right now we are cutting down in the police, we are cutting down in the school system, we are cutting down in the hospitals, we are cutting down in buildings, we are cutting down everything to be able to put in more money and afford to put in migration into our country. We have a government who cares more about other European citizens and migrants than they care about their own. And then they question how come racism is flowing in Sweden. How come people are so pissed off and angry right now? When we have senior citizens who get a retirement or a pension for like 6,000 kronor a month, and you get an asylum seeker who gets an apartment, they get their bills paid, they get clothes, they get cell phones, they get everything without doing nothing. And then you wonder, how come you get this? I don't know. You don't have to be very smart to understand why things go wrong. Also now, the Swedish government has decided to put extra billion to build new houses and homes. But 70% of that money will go to build houses for the migrants. So they don't even build houses for the Swedish citizens first. Everything is about taking care of the migrants first. Fuck the rest. We have 1 million unemployed people in Sweden. What about them? 70% of them, by the way, is not Swedes. They have a different ethnicity than Swedish. How about those people? Shouldn't we be able to help them first? We have 600,000 people waiting for the first apartment. Shouldn't we help them first? And then I'm not talking about them who rent in second, third or fourth hand agreements. Shouldn't we help ourselves first before trying to help everybody else? Because that's just gonna pile up the problems and we're gonna have an even worse situation. Now they're taking down telecommunication poles in Sweden. So the military is in high alert. They are guarding the telecommunication centers. We have police officers who get hand grenades thrown at them. We have criminals in Sweden with bigger guns than the police force. And we have a police chief that sits in Swedish television and says that it's not the police who needs to take care of the problems in the society. Okay, who then? You have a government who says that it's the police duty to put up the border controls. We have a government that says that the police is the problem. They don't need to fix this. Then who is? Stop blaming everybody else and do your fucking job, Mr. Prime Minister, instead of being in Obama's penthouse and playing something that you aren't. You're a fool and you can't do your job. Resign immediately. Sweden right now is a madhouse. And starting from June 1st, about 5,000 migrants will be taken off the welfare, will be taken out of their houses. Where will they go? Do you think they will calmly and quietly just walk out from Sweden? I don't think so. We have now 10,000 crimes committed by migrants since October. They go under the file Code 291. I think there will be even higher numbers. And still nobody sees the problem. Nobody talks about the problem. Rape numbers has gone up with 200%. Nobody seems to understand why. Hate crimes against homosexuals, transgenders has exploded. And nobody seems to understand why. Maybe it's because for the last 10 years we have received a lot of young men from a culture where it's okay to gather at the town square and look when they throw gays from buildings. It may be, I'm not saying it is, but Sweden is the most liberal fucking country in the world. We have the same-sex marriages. We have gays who are the #1 famous people in Sweden. We are raised up with After Dark, a transgender dance and singing group. We need to start discussing the problem for what it is and what is causing the problem. Sweden is, as Donald Trump says, don't be like Sweden. And I must clearly say, don't be like Sweden. Because Sweden is a big fucking failure when it comes to multicultural things and how to implement different cultures into a community and into towns. We have 55 no-go zones, nearly 200 places in Sweden where we are not integrated. We have 95% migrants living there, no Swedes. And still, our government don't understand. Why is it so? Why is it so many problems? Why is it so much violence? Why is the crime rates going up? Why is so much rapes, robberies, gunfights, shooting, explosions, car fires? It's not the Swedes that has become more violent. We have implemented or imported crime. Don't be like Sweden. Don't listen to your news. Go online and try to search for alternate media. I can say RT.com is a very, very good news channel where you can get some news about what's going on in Sweden and what's going on in Europe. Also, An Angry Foreigner on YouTube is a very good channel to follow. So I wish I could tell you more, but right now Sweden is a madhouse. This summer is gonna be nasty. The rape numbers is gonna go up. We right now have sexual assault charges going through the roof. We have young kids getting raped in swim houses. We have girls getting attacked on the open street. We have gang rapes. We have stabbings. We have... This is just bad. It's bad. Don't swallow everything the news feed you because they don't want you to understand and see the truth. Right now we are discussing what kind of defense spray you should wear. Who is the best? Should you be carrying a little knife? Should you walk alone home, or do you need to go by groups? This is not Sweden anymore. We have also a police chief. When we had a girl that was stabbed to death at an asylum home by a migrant, the chief of police sits in national TV feeling compassion about the murderer, that we have to think about what he has gone through. Not a word about the victim. That's how fucking sick and twisted this country has become. Don't be like Sweden.